हमारे साथ मौजूद है पाकिस्तान में फ़लस्तीनी सफारतखाने के डेप्यूटी हेड मिशन नादिर al-Turk साहब. Thank you so much, Mr. Nadir al-Turk, for being with us again today. Let us know the latest situation of Gaza, and what about the hospital situation? Is there any functional hospital as we speak, and what are the conditions?
Good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning.
Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to be your guest this morning. Actually, still the situation in Gaza crisis increase sadly day by day. Most of the hospitals are out of service. We have more than 36 hospitals in Gaza. Only maybe 3 or 4 hospitals are working only with bandage and very limited resources, not enough to do anything. The Israelis put our Palestinian people about more than 2.2 million between two choices: died directly under their attack, or bleeding to death, starving to death, because as you know, there is no food supply to Gaza since more than 45 days. The other choice be transferred to outside of Gaza to become refugees forever. This is the choices which the Israelis try to do for the Palestinians, innocent people in Gaza. We have more than 13,300 shaheed, more than 32,000 injured, without any resources to save their lives. Israelis occupied Indonesian hospital in north of Gaza,
Yes.
and occupied Shifa hospital in Gaza City. And this is the situation. And the problem that still silence of the governments of the world. On the other hand, their people are protesting in the streets in favor of Palestine, and they are supporting Israelis with more weapons to kill more children and women in Gaza Strip.
Mr. Nadir, United Nations has recently adopted a resolution for humanitarian pause. Has it been implemented?
They're taking the resolution, but this resolution need to be accepted and facilitated by the Israelis. So, which giving a question: who is higher, United Nations or Israelis criminal government? This is again and again, as I mentioned before, we have more than 800 resolutions in favor of the United Nations, 85 resolutions from Security Council. With that, the United Nations don't have the power to insist Israelis to obey it and facilitate it to be appear on the ground. So I don't know what's going to be the future of this resolution to give humanitarian supply for Palestinian people in Gaza.
Mr. Nadir, what about the Palestinian Authority? Is Palestinian Authority putting any effort?
As you know, Palestinian government, they are right now located in West Bank, about 85 kilometers from Israel, from Gaza Strip. They are not allowed. There is no direct borders because you know all of our territory is under occupation. Even Palestinian government, they don't have. The Israelis afraid the custom and the tax money, which is for the Palestinian government. Even the Palestinians don't have the money to pay for the salaries for its own employee in West Bank or Gaza Strip. So this is the situation. The Palestinian government working with hard diplomacy, has political relation to insist the world, insist the international organization to make them obey and insist the Israelis to obey the international rules, international law. But if the Americans are blindly supported the Israelis, no one has the power to face the Americans. This is the problem actually what we are facing.
Mr. Nadir, as we are speaking, there are news about Qatar is playing an important role of mediator in this situation. Do you think there is a possibility of any breakthrough in near future?
We hope so. Qatari brothers are working on releasing 50 Israeli prisoners, and on the other hand, release 300 Palestinians, ladies and women and children in the Israeli prisons, and getting 5 days for ceasefire. We hope so. That is, and every day they said they are optimistic. Other days the Israelis said that we are not going to follow this procedure. We are not going to release anyone. We will not ceasefire even for 1 day. So we are waiting because, you know, it is everything according to Israelis' moody, Israelis' needs, which is obeyed by the Americans, obeyed by British, German, French, and they are not obey the blood of Palestinian people who are killed in cold blood by the Israelis and Americans, Western countries who brings. We wait and see. Inshallah, we will have something on the ground.
Inshallah, inshallah. Mr. Nadir, the Israeli Prime Minister gives a very harsh and bold statement against Hamas and the people of Palestine. And the fact is, his statement go against human rights. How you picture this? Because West is always talking about human rights and the other things, and yet supporting statements and action of Israel.
Actually, whatever the statements, the reality is on the ground very clear. They are speak about 250 Israelis prisoners between Palestinians' armed people hands. On the other hand, we have 7,500 and more Palestinian prisoners in the Israelis' jails and prisons. Okay, so we have hostage between the Israelis' hands need to be released. Other hand, they are speaking about 1,400 Israelis killed on 7th of October. Later on, it is facts on the ground show by Israelis report that 364 Israelis was killed by Israelis aircraft, Apache helicopter. It was killed by they killed their own people. And they killed more than 200 Palestinians in the same day in the same situation. So we are, on the other hand, they are ignoring the killing of more than 13,000 Palestinians, injured more than 30,000.
So in that situation, are you expecting a ceasefire anytime soon?
About the human rights, we need to look to everyone as a human. Not only the Israelis are a human, Palestinians are a humans and have equal right to live, not only the Israelis and Western people.
Mr. Nadir, through the platform of Suno News, what would you like to say? Any important message? What do you believe that there should be first and foremost step that should be done, and who can play that part?
I have two messages. First message for my brother and sister Pakistani people. Please don't forget Qa'id A'zam and raise your children according to the principles and vision in favor of how to support Palestine, in favor of Palestine. This is my first request for my brother and sister. Keep Qa'id A'zam alive, not only in your house and your minds, keep him alive, even in your action in favor of Palestine, and raise your children according to that. This is my first message. Second message to human beings around the world, to international community, please, we are waiting for real democracy. When we see your own people on the street in favor of Palestine, and you are blindly support Israelis, your governments blindly support Israelis in their killing for Palestinians, children and women in the street, and you are speaking about the human rights when there is a ship kidnapped by Yemeni people.
Yes, Mr. Nadir, you are rightly said that people around the world should raise their voice in this matter particularly.
And our prayers are with you and the brother and sisters in Gaza. Thank you so much for your time.
तो जी अपने नाज़रीन के साथ शेयर करते हैं नादिर साहब जो हमारे साथ मौजूद थे और वो जो बात कर रहे थे वो यही कह रहे थे कि सबसे पहले जो मैसेज वो देना चाहते हैं जो सुनो पाकिस्तान सुनो न्यूज़ के प्लेटफॉर्म से वो मैसेज देना चाहते हैं वो ये कि जितने भी मुसलमान बहन भाई हैं पूरी दुनिया में पाकिस्तानी बहन भाई हैं वो कह रहे हैं जी कि वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आवाज़ उठाएं इस सारे मामले को लेकर।
आप कहीं भी हो वक्त कोई भी हो बाखबर रहिए दुनिया के हालात व वाक़यात से। अभी सब्सक्राइब कीजिए सुनो न्यूज़ के यूट्यूब चैनल को और क्लिक करें बेल आइकन को ताकि आप हमेशा बाखबर रह सकें।